actually going to be doing like a mini interview with CHO.S.E.N. This is his first interview of many.
I'm telling you.
Of many. Okay.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
So at first, I just want you to tell everyone a little bit about what got you into performing. Like I know for a fact that you've always been into music, you know, from a young age, but what pushed you to start putting your life into song and actually sharing it with people?
Oh, wow, that's such a good question. How do you think of? So my dad was actually a performer first, so I used to watch him when I used to go to Grenada.
Speak into your mic.
Oh, sorry. Is it on? It's not even
Lost
on.
the effect.
You said, I thought you said you didn't want it on. You wanted it on. You turned it on. No, it's not.
Yeah, so my dad, no, I'm playing. Yeah, my dad was a performer in Grenada.
The couch.
Big chill. Anyways, my dad was a performer in Grenada, and I used to watch him perform, make his music, go to the studio, write his songs. And from an early age, you know, he had introduced me to like music. I know it's almost calypso, but just seeing my dad in the studio and stuff like that, it just really inspired me. As I went through life, like in junior high school, I realized, okay, I can rap and I can sing and things like that. I never, for some people, I never was the best at rapping or singing, but I always believed in myself and always had a passion to do so, regardless. And actually, like my group members are here, but like I started rapping and singing in junior high school with the Heights with Talisa and Chris and things like that. And yeah, and then as I met Christ, you know, I started, you know, I was tired of the fakeness like in Christianity and stuff, so I was like, you know what, let me use my story, because as I write my music, I think about my relationship with God, and it's not always perfect. It's not always perfect, but it's not always, you know, suffering. So those are things that got me inspired. It's just life, and I really wanted people to think about something else. Nobody really talks about the things I talk about in my music. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So even on that note, right? How do you decide how much you're gonna put into your music? Because sometimes, you know, you want to pour in everything, but you also don't want people to know too much about yourself and what you've been through. Mm-hmm. So do you have boundaries when it comes to your music? How do you decide what those boundaries are?
Okay, natural.
I think as I've grown in writing songs, the way I write the songs, I think I definitely censored myself more. Before it was like if I felt like I want to write about masturbation, I'm gonna really go there. But now it's like, how can I be more creative with writing about that? How can I be more creative with writing about pain and, you know, struggle and hurt and suffering and things like that? But overall, I still like that punch, because I feel like, I always say this, is like I just now said, if SZA can rap about killing her ex and and Cardi B can rap about her WAP and this, that, and the third, I feel like as a Christian artist, there shouldn't be nothing off limits. If the world can go there, I can go there as well, but I can also bring it back to that biblical perspective, where it's like I'm rapping about X, Y, and Z, but at the end of my raps, there's always a solution. You know what I mean? So I want to be real and vulnerable just like the world, but I want to do it in a way that I can still reach people, because there's people who are believers that probably don't listen to Christian music. You know what I mean? So it's like I want to be that branch where it's like it sounds worldly, but it still has that message of like faith and hope and stuff like that. And it's a real message, you know? And some people don't even talk about their struggles. You know what I mean? I don't really think people talk about, you know, same-sex attraction or struggling with that, or masturbation or pornography or hatred and, you know, all these different type of things. So I talk about those things, you know what I mean? And it is scary sometimes when I gotta go to open mics and perform these things, because you never know the reaction. But as my pastor said, I can't worry about the seeds that I'm sowing. I can just let it fall on whatever ground they fall on, but I just gotta do my part. I can't worry about what people think. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's so good. And thank you for being real, because, you know, like you said, we do live in a world where, even within like the Christian genre, you know, not every single artist is actually talking about themselves and their struggles and like the real struggles that they actually go to. So I definitely think that's dope. What is one of your favorite songs that you've ever written, and why?
Girl, you coming with the heat. Okay, you did your research. I like that. One of my favorite songs?
Yeah, that you
think a favorite song that I really love has to be, that I love performing at least, has to be Hood Adolescence. I think that's the first song that really like kicked it off for me. And I think that was the first song that made me really like, you know, want to be like, okay, I can actually like make a whole album, make a whole record. It was the first one to me that got, you know, a lot of views. 800 views is a lot to me. So, you know, I'm a humble king. You know what I mean? So that was the first one for me. And from that video, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this for real, for real. So Hood Adolescence would be my favorite song that I wrote. I think it ties into everything that I went through. Yeah.
And how long ago did you write that?
Oh my God, so I wrote that like probably like 3 years ago and things like that. But when I write my songs, it started before 3 years, but I really finished it like around that third year. But yeah, I wrote that 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the name behind Chosen. I mean, it seems like self-explanatory, but how did you come, like, you know, people have different stage names. How did you decide on that one?
Whew, child, oh my God, I had so many stage names throughout the years. Y'all know, my friend, yeah. The first one was C.H.O.S.E.N. That was my me and my, it's funny. That was me and my dad's nickname. It was C.H.O.S.E.N. Then it was RKG, that's my initial. Then it was Blue, then it was Castle, then it was a lot. But how we got here is because I really wanted something that was gonna stick, and I really wanted something that was gonna you know, showcase who I am as an artist. So at first, the last name that I was going for was Woke 2000. It was quotations, waiting on King Elohim, and I was saying 2000 because Jesus came and you know, I'm a little deep sometimes, so that's the name I really wanted, Woke 2000. But then after that, I was like, that's good, but like, I don't feel like that's me. So I started thinking about, you know, like the Bible. I was like, can I go in the Bible to find some inspiration? And then I thought of one of my favorite scriptures. It's somewhere in Matthew. It's many are called, but few are chosen. And from there, I was like, yeah, that's definitely me, because God called me. And when he called me, I changed, you know, how I started writing my music. I changed how I started living my life. I changed how I started thinking. And all of those things transpired. All those things that I've been through, I put into music, because, you know, yeah. Also, I just think it's nice. I just like the name Chosen. It just rings a bell for me, like Chosen. Like, oh my God, you know, I love it so much. I got it tatted behind my ear. Like, it's that deep. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I have a question.
Ooh, someone from the audience. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're coming upon Q&A. Go ahead.
It has to do with your name. So yours is like, you put a dot between every letter. Is there a significance between every letter, or?
Yeah, so that goes for choosing him over sin even now. That's
okay.
So you weren't gonna say that unless she asked? That's crazy.
I didn't really think about the dot, because I didn't know I chosen, so I didn't, you know, but yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that question.
You need to trademark that.
You should.
Before I make it a t-shirt.
You should make that your bio.
Oh, we can work. We can collaborate.
Come on. So speaking of collaborating, what is the future of Chosen? Like, what do you see for Chosen 5-10 years from now?
I feel, well, I see, by the grace of God, I like performing and doing stuff in the front. You know, I like performing and rapping and singing. But I also see myself writing for other artists. I wrote for Talisa. I wrote some stuff for a group called The Heights. I see myself writing songs for other people. I see myself sort of kind of getting into what my guy over here, Mateo, does. Like, you know, filmmaking and things like that. And, you know, like making great content that glorifies Jesus, like Christian films and stuff like that. Like, sort of kind of like how Tyler Perry used to do it, but with my own touch, where it's like, you know, it's about real life, but it has that faith-based message. I also see myself, you know, definitely I always want to get better on my craft, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vocals, you know, working on my vocals, working on my rap, working on my rest, like all those different type of things, just becoming everything. I don't ever want to be put in a box. I never did. I hated being put in a box. I always wanted to be a rapper, a singer, a writer, you know, I'm a producer. So yeah, I see myself doing a lot of things by the grace of God.
Amen.
Hello.
So I feel like I have questions for days, but I do want to open it up to the audience for a Q&A. If there's anything, there's no question that's too deep to ask for
Not
Sheik.
at all.
Is there any questions that y'all have for him?
When we collab.
Girl, you know,
for
We
this.
gotta get back to the drawing board. We gotta get back to the drawing board. We don't collab. We gotta get back to the drawing board. Yes, Judy.
As a creative myself, sometimes we do struggle with creative blocks. So I wanted to know, I was kind of interested in how do you navigate through your creative blocks, especially from the spiritual aspects, because we know the enemy is always prowling. So like, how do you navigate through that?
That's a good question. I think for me, what I do is rest in it, because I feel like sometimes it's good to slow down and not always. It's hard because I love to write and I love to do all these things, but sometimes it's good to just slow down and just go through life. And I feel like as I come out of that stage that I'm in, whether that's a block or whether that's a season of, you know, whatever it is, after I go through what I go through, I find it's more easier for me to write. I find it's more easier for me to have inspiration once I'm not doing those things. Another thing too is, you know, talk to God. Like, I feel like sometimes we can make our gifts our idols. So instead of just, you know, always having to be on the go, those times when I have those blocks, how can I talk to God about it? You know what I mean? How can I pray? How can I read my word? How can I serve God in that aspect? And then, you know, we get back to me and things like that. So I just let them happen, and then, you know, I talk to God about it and things like that. And also, I journal, you know what I mean? I try to journal a lot, you know what I mean? So, yeah, and then also, like, without it being deep, sometimes I do push myself beyond, okay, let's try to write something. You know, let's do something today. So I do still try to write, but I'll just let it flow for me.
I don't come with questions. I know we had this conversation, I think maybe yesterday, about just being a musician in general and how difficult it could be keeping up with that, especially when you have regular life coming at you. So what are some of the things that you do to get yourself back on track?
For me, the things I do to get myself back on track, I definitely just, like, when I have that moment, find joy in my creativity. Because I was telling Julie, so like sometimes like we chase the fame part, or we want to be, or I say me, I want to be recognized so much, and I want to get here, I want to, you know, I have 1 million on TikTok, but it's like when I chase all those things, and when I don't have the studio time, or I can find myself like, okay, like, you know, so flustered. But when I'm just like, you know what, right, that's what you love to do. I just continue to write. I continue to, you know, listen to music that inspires me. I continue to, you know, just try to, you know, just think about the love that I have, whether I'm in the studio or not. I always tell myself, like, whether my music ever gets out, for me, I know that God hears it, and that's what I'm trying to please in the first place for me. So it's like, He hears my music, that's good. As much as I want it out, as much as I want to be where I want to be, and I'm not there, I still know that, you know, my little friends hear my music, you know, like, for me, it's the little things, you know what I mean? Life, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, life, you know, but at the end of the day, it's like the little things matter, you know. Even if it's like working with T and like our songs are not released, like it's something that I created, so I find joy in that. Even if it's just, you know, collab, you know, like finding joy in the little things that I love to do, you know. Music, we love music, so, you know, we want to get somewhere, but music is always going to be there at the end of the day, so.
Right.
And I encourage you and other musicians as well to hold on for the love of music, like that thing that God first put in your heart, because it's so easy to start in the music industry and just like fall off completely of your relationship with God. We see it all the time. And a lot of people are always like, well, that's not going to be me, you know, I'm going to be an actor, actress, that's not going to be me though, and it doesn't be them. So, you know, the enemy is on the prowl. He's always looking for who he can devour.
Right.
So, stay true to yourself and who God called you to be. Really good. Alright, so that's the interview. The first of many.
Thank you, you did that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I didn't know you was going to come like that.
I am a woman of many talents.
Come on. Nah, she is. What's your list then? Doctor, lawyer, humblest.
Alright, so now we're going to move into the next phase of the night, which is we have some more performances. We're very excited. The next performance we have is You by TT Baby. Yes? No? We ready for you, girl. We're ready for you. We ready for you.
Huh? No.
We can, I mean, we can do someone else first. No?
Just get over
Oh,
it.
what?
It's 9 o'clock. I'm just.
He's trying to get a closer.
Okay,
So he's trying to get a closer.
Love
He,
you.
no, he can try, Rashid has his own set.
I
We can let someone else go first. How about that? How about that?
do. Everybody else that she's part of everybody else that
She's ready, she said.
You ready?
She's ready.
She ready.
You got it. Turn the mic on. You got it. Here was late.
You look like a
I need that
star.
mic too. Because I sing that.
Oh, I see.
Maybe we should-
Here late.